right, Jason.
Hi, good to be here. Glad you're on site with us today.
Oh,
at the
it's always
garden,
good to be here. Always good to
is.
be here. Glad you're here as well. So we're going to talk about what, our kilometer trees,
That's
right?
right. I am so excited that y'all are here looking at these trees. I love tall, slender trees and shrubs, and we're standing in front of our collection here. We have about 15 tall, slender trees in the collection here, and this is one of my favorite.
So you have a favorite?
I do have a favorite.
All right.
This is an oak tree called Kindred Spirit, and it is a hybrid oak. It's just a great plant. This one is about 6 years old, and I love it for a dark green foliage, the kind of silver underside, and it does have an acorn. But it's really tight growing, as you can see here. And so, you know, these tall, slender trees have a place in the landscape, not just architecturally, because this is beautiful, even when the leaves are off of it, but also if you don't have a lot of room in your landscape. You know, our homes, our properties are becoming smaller and smaller, and if you don't have room for a full-size tree, many of these trees would work in your property. So we invite you to come out and look at all of them. But yeah, Kindred Spirit is one of my favorites.
All right. Is it fast growing?
It is relatively fast growing. Again, this is about 5 years old from a 3 foot tall tree. And so we're looking at probably close to 20 feet now.
Yeah,
every bit 20 feet. So has grown really well. And this also is unirrigated up here. We plant them when we plant them. If we need to water them, we will. When we do plant them in fall or winter or early spring. But then they're on their own after that.
They're on their own. Okay. Any major, pest problems we need to be concerned about?
Occasionally you get a little Japanese beetle on the hybrid oaks, but nothing that really hurts it. So.
Okay. All right. So let's take a look at some.
So let's go on and see some others.
Yeah. All right, Jason.
All right, so my second favorite tree of the tall, slender trees is a native tree called Slender Silhouette Sweet Gum. And this was found in Middle Tennessee by Don Shadow in the wild. Don Shadow is a famous nurseryman, and he propagated it from the wild, and then these are all grafted, which all these trees we're looking at are grafted. And so it grows tall and slender. Being a sweet gum, it does produce balls. It does not produce them every year. You can actually see where it actually aborted some earlier this year, which is a good thing. It's fallen off early.
It's small.
But here's one from probably a year before last. It does not produce the balls every year, but when it does, they tend to be right around it, so it's easy to rake up. One advantage too, being a sweet gum, is very drought tolerant, tough, will grow pretty much in any conditions. Slender Silhouette is tall and slender, but if you got it in really good soil or you're irrigating it, it will kind of splay. It'll have some branches that come off the side. So you're better growing it in poor, drier soil. Again, we don't irrigate anything up here, so this one has stayed really tight. I do occasionally see these in landscapes where they got irrigation and the branches will come off the side because they're growing too quickly and they're too soft. It does get some fall color, some years better than others, not as good as maybe just a straight species, but just a really cool plant. You know, I'm seeing this more and more in landscapes, particularly in parking lots and where you don't have a lot of room, but just a great tough plant. So again, that's Slender Silhouette Sweet Gum.
And it is a hot, dry day today.
It is, absolutely.
How about that?
And then our next tree down here is another native. This is our state tree, the tulip poplar. And this is a cultivar called Arnold. And Arnold, again, grows tall and slender. It would actually appreciate a little bit of irrigation. You know, tulip top poplars tend to be a little early to drop leaves in summer or late summer. They'll drop earlier than other trees, particularly in years of drought. So this would appreciate some water. Again, we don't water it at all. Tulip poplars are also sometimes known to get aphids, a full-size tree, and cause honeydew. Now, because it's tall and slender, if you do have the honeydew, it's going to be right there under it, so it's not going to be falling on your car, so you don't have to worry about that. Again, I see this more and more used in parking lots and areas where you don't have a lot of room. But I love tulip poplar. You know, it has a yellowish bloom with an orange center in the spring. This one does just like the straight species as well. And then these beautiful, nice green leaves. Another advantage to tulip poplar is when that leaf falls off and you hit it with a lawnmower, it just disintegrates. It doesn't blow around, it just breaks up really easy, so you really don't have to rake leaves off the tulip poplar, so I really like it for that as well. So again, that's Arnold tulip poplar. And again, the straight species is the state tree of Tennessee.
It's nice, I like it. All right. And you say it could deal with maybe poor soil?
Oh, it can, absolutely. And it doesn't have to be watered. This one's not, but it will defoliate a little earlier in the season if you're not able to give it some additional water in periods of drought.
But that's nothing to be overly concerned about.
No, it's not going to hurt the tree. That's the nature of the tree.
So, good deal. All right.
All right.
All right, Jason, what do we have here?
So two other trees I want to highlight are both, they're relatives of each other. One is a zelkova we're looking at, and the next one we're going to look at is an elm. So they're closely related, and you'll see the resemblance when we look at the other one. This is a tall, slender zelkova called
Musashino.
Musashino, there you go, thank you. I have trouble saying that sometimes. I love it. plants in the elm family are generally drought tolerant. These very much are. Again, we don't water up here. Nice dark green leaves. And you can see this is a real dense.
Yeah, it is.
And a little bit wider at the top. The branches on it, again, are very tall and slender, and so even when it's not in flower, I'm sorry, in leaf, it's very architectural in the wintertime. So you've got these upright branches, and it has beautiful bark that reminds me a little bit of a cherry tree bark. And so very, very attractive in the winter months as well as during the summertime. So again, Moschino.
Right.
Zelkova.
Okay. Do we have to worry about leaf drop or anything like that?
No, that's tough plant, and it'll hang on till fall on it. So not any problem with it, and not any insects or disease problems.
Okay.
And then the next one is the lace bark elm called Everclear, and this is a Chinese elm. As it ages, again, attractive in the wintertime, really can't see very well here, but the bark exfoliates and is attractive, so you can see that during the winter months. Smaller leaves than the zelkova, again, a first cousin, and also, again, disease and insect tolerant or resistant. So a little bit more open in habit. You can see through it a little bit more than you can the zelkova there, but still a really nice tree. You know, so we've been focusing in on these. I guess I planted my first ones maybe about 10 years ago here at the gardens. And I've planted them. They're not all the same age. Of course, you can come out and look at these. The gardens here are open daylight to dark year round. The section we've looked at today, with the exception of the first one, was planted about 10 years ago, and they're relatively all the same age. But as I've found them, I've added them to the collection. And they're not always easy to find. They're becoming more readily available. You know, you just want to check out your local garden center and nursery. If they don't have it, you could ask them maybe to order it. You know, it's always good to start in advance. Let them know, I'm going to be looking for this. You know, can you get it when you're placing your order? This, you know, they work on their orders in the fall for the next year. Also, mail order sources are a good source for trees. You know, something you'd want to get shipped during the cooler months. You wouldn't want to order one right now and have it shipped. And then if you happen to be local, the UT Gardens here in Jackson, we have plant sales, and we have sold pretty much all of these at our plant sales. And at any given time, we have about 5 of these that we offer at the sales. So kind of focusing in on those trees that don't take as much room up in your landscape. And then if you're here visiting, behind us here on the other side of the driveway is our collection of tall, slender shrubs. Most of those are conifers. Most of them are evergreen. There are a few exceptions in there. There's a few hollies and a few deciduous plants, but also just to show people what you can grow if you don't have a lot of room. You know, if you've got a little narrow space that you need some privacy, these trees and those shrubs could also fill that need in the landscape.
So to do the job for you, I have one last quick question for you. When is the best time to plant these trees? So
the best time to plant these trees would either be fall or winter or early spring. And we do a lot of our planting here in November and December, but January, February, March is good. Once you get beyond that, you may have to water in periods of drought. So if you can get it planted in the fall or early winter, you're less likely to have to water.
Less likely to have to water. Thank you, Jason. We appreciate that so much.
All right, thank you. All right. Thanks for coming out today.
Hey, it's good to be here on this hot day, right?
Yes.
All right. Thanks for watching the video. If you enjoyed it, please click the subscribe button below.